Welcome to Gear Up with Big Iron.
If we ever have your sale, we're going to work as hard as we can to make sure it's the best sale we ever had.
Hey everybody, Mark Stock here. We're gearing up today, brought to you by Big Iron Auctions. And today we have our Chief Sales Officer, Franklin Langham, joining us today to talk about what's going on in the auction market. And we're in the middle of harvest across most of the ag country. We're wrapping up a lot of some of the construction space businesses in the Colden belts. Of course, down south, they never stop working, and Franklin will tell us all about that, as he has got a lot of knowledge in that field, because Franklin, prior to becoming to Big Iron, has a number of years, and I'll let him tell you how many years of being in the auction space with a couple other names that are well known throughout Auctionville. So ladies and gentlemen, I invite Franklin Langham into our podcast. Hello, Franklin. How you doing?
Great, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Now, first of all, why don't you tell us exactly, I know you're a Georgia boy, why don't you tell us exactly where you are living now in Georgia?
We live south of Atlanta, Georgia, a little country town called Fayetteville, Georgia. I grew up in a real small town outside of Augusta, Georgia, Thompson, Georgia, where my parents lived for a number of years, and got to see rural Georgia. My dad was a quail hunter, so we spent a lot of time on different farmland throughout South Georgia, where you see most of the farming done. So it was a great childhood and a great way to grow up.
Now, Augusta, Georgia, isn't that the home of Green Jackets?
You got that right. Yep.
And you have something to do with something around that area too. I mean, Franklin, tell us about your days as being a PGA golfer.
Yeah, so that, I guess you could say, that was my first career, Mark. So the first 15 years, actually more than that, because I played college golf at the University of Georgia. But for 15 years, I played golf professionally and was able to provide for my family, which was a big accomplishment. It's very competitive, as we see each and every week out there on the PGA Tour. So that was a great time in my life. It was super competitive. I think that's what prepared me for the role I'm in today with a sales team, because you have to compete in the market, right? And I love that. I love the challenge. Competition makes you better. But I got the opportunity to play in the Masters in 2001. I qualified and played on the Walker Cup team, which is the amateur equivalent of the Ryder Cup. Got to represent my country. So it was a fantastic, first career, I guess you could say. And then I segued into this.
So when you're not playing the Masters, I mean, can you just walk onto the golf course there in Augusta and play 9 or 18 holes, or is that a little more complicated?
It's very complicated. It's even so challenging just to get a ticket to the tournament. I believe it's right there at the top with the NCAA Final Four as the hardest ticket in sports to get. So they very much limit the amount of tickets that they sell to patrons. They're not attendees or spectators. They refer to them as patrons, but they want it to be so that when you're in, you have this great experience, right? You're able to see the golfers. You're not 10 deep trying to reach over and see. So they limit, the amount of attendees. They don't ever release the total amount. They keep that very quiet, but it is a special ticket to get. And no, you can't. They've got armed guards all 24/7, 365. So you can't just walk out there. You have to know a member or someone who's connected to the club to be able to get out there.
So a month before the Masters, you still have to know somebody to play that golf course.
Oh, that's year round. They actually tear the course up in the summer because of the heat here in the South and humidity. And when I say tear it up, think about planting a crop, right? They plow up the fairways, they reseed them every September, October, so that it's a winter grass called ryegrass, so that when the tournament comes around in April, our natural grass down here is Bermuda, a hot weather grass, right? So it doesn't come into full, flourishment until the summer months. So they have to overseed so that come April tournament time, the course is as green as you see on TV. But, so they replant it every year during the summer months. So it's only open about 6 months out of the year.
So what got you in the game of golf to begin with?
Well, growing up about 30 miles from Augusta, I'd played all sports growing up. And I think what happened, my freshman year of high school, I got my bell rung pretty good playing football, and I was playing some golf on the side, and I vaguely remember coming home to my dad going, no matter how bad a day I have on the golf course, nobody's gonna knock my block off, and so and I wasn't the biggest kid, so your major sports, baseball, football, you got to be pretty big to survive and do well in those sports. Whereas golf, you see all shapes and sizes that play well. So, I just started taking to it. We moved out near a country club in our area, so I could walk across the street to the golf course. I think the other thing, I had some good friends that I was friends with in high school that started playing. So your teenage formative years, you're going to hang out where your friends are hanging out. And I just kind of took to it, and gradually got better over time. I wasn't a prodigy or anything like that from an early age, but I just through hard work and perseverance, I survived and went to college and got better, and then said, well, before I go get a real job, I might want to try playing this for a living. And it worked out. So I felt very fortunate and blessed to have that happen.
Well, I know all across rural America, there's the Wednesday night ladies league and the Thursday night men's leagues. But there's just a lot of camaraderie and sharing of ideas on a golf course. Do you have a good story that you can share with us that was enlightened you on a golf course?
Well, I'll tell you, I got to play with some pretty cool people, through my years playing golf. When I made All-American in college, we went up and we played Winged Foot, which is up in New York. And actually, I played 9 holes with Donald Trump. This was back in 1991. Talked to him about the real estate crisis at the time. I played with a lot of businessmen through the years. One year at the what they now refer to as the AT&T Pro-Am. It was the Bob Hope Classic, and you played with amateurs. It was one of the original 3 founders of Starbucks coffee. Just hearing his story, how they invested in that and got it going. Played with Herb Kohler Faucets, the kitchen supply company, and I think he would have paid anything to be good at golf. He's passed away now. So, I just felt very fortunate, and business always intrigued me. Mark, it's no different than working for you and Ron, how you started Big Iron and got it going, and the blood, sweat, and tears it took at the outset. I mean, everybody I talked to, there was never any easy before the hard. The hard always came first. You have to put the work in, whether you're playing golf, building a business, selling ag equipment, selling coffee, selling faucets, whatever that is, there's hard work along the way somewhere. And I just loved hearing their stories and getting to visit with them. And that was a real neat experience. Because like you say, golf is a very social engagement. You're trying to perform and play well, but there's a lot of time in between shots when you're allowed to talk and, can just have those conversations. So it was really interesting getting to meet people like that through the years.
So in order to be good at golf, I'm just going to ask it, do you either A, have to have natural ability, or B, do you just have to practice 8 hours a day or more, or C, a combination of all the above?
You're right with C. We always said in golf, 90% of the golf you see is, but this is even PGA Tour players, 90% of the golf we play, nobody ever sees, right? That 90% is spent hard work. And when you get to the college level, everybody's good. And I would say this in most all sports. And then you get to the pro level, everybody's great. So when you get to that pro level, you got a mix of talent and hard work and a lot of self-discipline, right, to get you there. Neither will take you all the way there. You have to have some of both. But I'll tell you what, you give me the guy that has a certain percentage of talent, maybe he's 80% versus the guy that has the 100% of the talent. But that guy at 80% is willing to outwork the guy at 100. He's going to beat him every time in the long run. So, you got to have that hard work and good work ethic to make it.
So now you live in Georgia with your lovely wife, and she's a peach. And you've got 4 children. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your wife and your kids?
Ashley, my wife, we met in college. She's definitely the rock for our family. She's been through it all with me through my golf career and now in the sales and equipment career, and really is just the center of our family and does a great job, not only as a wife, but as a mother too, because all my career I've traveled a lot, whether it be golf and now with working at Big Iron. So it requires travel to be out there with the customers, with your sales team. So she's kind of been the glue that kept us together at home. We have 4 boys together. ages 27, 25, 23, and 19. And the two older ones are out working on their own. The other two are in college. So we're about 2 months in. Our youngest went off to college this year. So we're about 2 months into being empty nesters. So it's a different phase of life for us for sure. But I think as you would indicate or back me up on, Mark, they always will be your kids. You always worry about them, but you always want to be there for them. And, it goes from being the parent to being more of the friend and dropping the breadcrumbs, and hopefully they pick them up and go on a good path in life.
So they all Bulldogs too?
They are. Well, my oldest actually went to Ole Miss, so we kind of refer to Ole Miss in the SEC as Switzerland a little bit, but he just fell in love with the school and went out there. So we have some good interfamily rivalries, but the other three are Bulldogs for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, football season underway, and I'm a college football fan. I love it. So I'm excited to see what happens. The Bulldogs, hanging right in there. tough team to beat, but I hope they stumble because somebody else has got to move up there too. But you never know. You never know. Hey, but after you graduated college and you did your PGA stint, then you got into kind of the auction business. Tell us a little bit about that period up until where you joined the Big Iron team.
Yeah, so going back to my family, the boys were getting older. I was traveling a lot, 5, 6, 7 weeks at a time, not coming home. I felt like I was being sent out on duty or something. But you started realizing as a family life, it wasn't as conducive. And I always told people I really wasn't necessarily looking for a career change, but I knew I needed a lifestyle change for our family. So in 2008, decided to shut it down, basically retire. And through that, back to your question earlier, I had met some really cool business people through my years on tour, and I just started calling folks and just saying, "Hey, I'm going to go into the business world. What do you have for me?" And fortunately, I'd met someone who had just taken over to run a competing auction company to Big Iron back in the day, and he brought me on board in business development, and I learned a lot about the business. My grandfather and my uncle to this day, they're Chevron jobbers, so they haul fuel and lubricants to a lot of the farmers in the area as well as contractors. So I'd been around equipment. I never spent a lot of time farming or on a construction site, but it was familiar to me. So I liked that, and the more I got into it, the more I really enjoyed it. Just from the standpoint, our customers are great. Look, they'll always, in anything you do, there'll always be some bad apples out there, but for our business, the farmers, the contractors, they're what built and fed America, even to this day, right? And I always appreciated that. So the more I got into it, Mark, the more I enjoyed it. And so I just started, just like the golf, I just started working really hard to learn the business, learn what I needed to know, get to know the customers, build relationships. And, it's led me on a great path and a great journey. And now I've ended up here at Big Iron, and I'm thoroughly happy. I love the company. There's so much growth and opportunity available for us, and I'm excited what the future holds. We really, I can speak for the sales team that we take it as an awesome responsibility to build on what you and Ron have built to this day, and we're excited about that.
Today, our special guest is Chief Sales Officer Franklin Langham for Big Iron and Big Iron Auctions and numerous verticals within the Big Iron family. So why don't you give us a rundown of those verticals that you are Commander-in-Chief of?
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, so we are a diverse company. I think people see us and they think ag equipment and land auctions, and those are two of the biggest verticals that we have, and we continue to expand geographically as we grow that side of the business. But we're also in construction equipment. We do transportation assets. We have collector cars, which is a fun part of our vertical. A lot of our customers have their toys, if you will, and it's a great complement to the rest of our business. So look for those. We're having quarterly auctions for the collector cars. We're also in livestock as well. So a lot of different sectors to be in. They all complement each other. And oftentimes, we have customers that have businesses that straddle more than one of the verticals that we cover. So it gives us an opportunity to work with them on multiple levels.
So you got a pretty good sized team, and they're scattered across the United States?
Yes, yes. The core and the heart of what we do is in the heartland of the U.S., but we're continuing to grow out from there as we see opportunities. So we're covering all the upper Midwest, down to South Central U.S., and we're spreading to the coast now as we grow our business. So we're just really looking to see where that market opportunity is. Obviously penetrating further that ag market and the land sales, the farmland, and we're going to look into commercial real estate. We're going to continue to expand in construction and transportation as the business grows. So it's a walk run thing. We build all sides of our business because, again, it's one thing to go get the sale, but then you have to support it. And we want to make sure we bring that best in class service to all of our customers, no matter the vertical, as Big Iron has done for so many years.
So, in order to grow, of course, I know the answer to this question, but just so all of our listeners understand, you're looking to add people, but what kind of people are you looking for?
Look, you're exactly right. I mean, people are at the core of what we do. It's the people that work for us, but it's also the people we serve. And at the end of the day, I think our audience would agree, it's a relationship business. Yeah, we have a great service to offer, and we do a great job, and we want to help our customers every way we can and do so to their delight. But it starts with the people that we have on our team. So yeah, we're looking for hardworking people who are willing to learn and be part of a team. We have a lot of goals that are out there that we want to go achieve, but to do that, it's going to take some hard work, some dedication, but we have fun when we do it, right? I mean, work, it will always be work, but if we can't have a little fun along the way, then what's the use of the journey, right?
Well, you said it, college players are good, PGA players are great. So, you're looking for good and great players?
That's exactly right. And we'll take the good that want to be great and we'll help them get there.
Perfect. I love that answer. That's perfect. Hey, now let's talk about some of the trends that are going on now in the different verticals that you are watching over. What are you seeing? Let's pick on the ag real estate market right now. What are you noticing here in the ag land market?
Well, the good news there is land prices have held in there much better, than some might have predicted. And that's good for the farmer, right? Because we've, not to go away from the question, but we've seen the kind of the post-COVID euphoria, if you will, where all new and used equipment was in tight supply, prices went through the roof, and now we're starting to see certain segments and markets and models soften because the supply has outrun demand now. So the good news of that is, that it restores some confidence in our core base of farmers that when the land prices are hanging in there and performing well and up to expectations, it gives our customers confidence to buy and reinvest in their business. So I think some of that, Mark, is due to the land play is a little bit longer term play. So we see more ups and downs in the market from an equipment standpoint, but the land tends to be more steady over a longer period of time.
Yeah, I can relate to that. The machinery, you might see a 20 to 30% dip. Or in real estate, you'll see that 10, maybe 12% dip up and down. So it ain't quite as dramatic. But we're seeing some of that in the marginal land. We'll always see the marginal stuff back off first. The good quality stuff still seems to be a demand for it. But, interest rates has to play on it somewhat too. Have you seen that affect value of both machinery and land?
For sure. I mean, when you talk about interest rates and all the macroeconomics, we're not no longer a U.S. kind of business this environment. This is a global environment. So, when you look at commodity prices, it's driven by global demand, not just U.S. demand. So, yeah, you're seeing that, affect the market interest rates, all of that. And I would tell you, from what I see when I talk to customers, no one's doom and gloom. And I'm always a glass half full versus half empty type person. But you are seeing some concern in the market. You throw on top of that, we're getting very close to our next presidential election, the political uncertainty, I guess, if you will, and what kind of policies will be in place going forward. It gives everybody a reason to kind of take pause and just reassess and make sure they're making the right play. I think I would tell you, to your point earlier, on the equipment side, the good machines and the good equipment continues to sell well. I just think it's now a buyer's market, so they can be pickier, right? And they can choose the equipment they want to buy, and they've got more to choose from than they did 2 years ago. So they're able to hand select, if you will, the machines that they want. And where you see the price pressure the most are on the older more higher hour, more well-used machines right now, but both construction and ag markets.
Well, I think there have always been people that have been waiting for this. They've been waiting for the correction to take place. And those folks have had the money sitting in their bank, waiting to pounce on the opportunity to buy a newer machine, whether it be a tractor, a four-wheel drive, or a four-wheel drive tractor, or a combine, at a price that's 20% less than it was 18 months ago. Well, they're all coming to the dance right now, okay? Those people that are sitting with the cash that don't need to borrow the money, they're coming to the dance. And we're seeing that evident here by some of the auctions we've just had most recent. But as we come into our November and December timeframes, historically in the ag sector, that's been some of the best months to sell machinery. Are you guys ready for a big November, December?
Yes, we are, and you're exactly right. There's definitely seasonality in our business, and to your point, we typically see that high watermark in the second half of November to the first part of December, and so we're gearing up for that. The data that we track in our industry and in our company as well as in the industry point to that. So we're continually reinvesting in the business here at Big Iron, not only from a sales standpoint to have more reps and boots on the ground to go out and engage with our customers at the point of sale, but also in the back office, the operational side of it. So when we do get that equipment and that consignment from our farmers, we're able to react in a timely and efficient manner and get those items to sell, because you do have that tight window when everybody likes, we all want to sell at the high water mark, right? And that's typically where we see it. So we want to be able to be in a good nimble position to be able to react and succeed for our customers, both buyers and sellers.
Well, I know that retirement sales like to take place a lot in that November and December time period, and into January and February as well, and even into March. Historically, that March time period, they always did it because they thought the weather was better. But with an internet company that you've spent your entire career with internet companies, the seasonality for bad weather no longer exists when you're selling on the internet. And I think that levels that playing field. But now you also wear hats of a different color in yellow iron. So you're talking a good talk with experience in the ag sector, but talk about how November and December work for people with some of the construction equipment.
Too dissimilar, right? I mean, when you go through the summer months, that's typical planting, time, spring, getting the crops ready for harvest. The same with construction industry. The summer months are when you see all the road paving projects. I know it drives us all crazy when we're driving on vacation trying to go someplace, but the summer months are when the machines are working. So when the snow starts flying, you will also see a lot of fleet readjustments occurring in the construction space as well. And that starts, in that November, December timeframe, but it also carries over into the spring, January, February, March, as they look to bid new projects for when the snow thaws and the projects go again. They're starting to bid those projects, and when they win those bids, then they're going to align their fleet according to the work that they have coming. So you see a lot of machines and equipment changing hands, not only in the ag but also the construction and transportation space as you go through November, December, and then the early spring months.
And then, in addition to the construction world, we can't leave out our trucks. And I'm seeing your folks are listing more and more trucks to sell, and that market, that's a very interesting market. It has a lot to do with the products that are being sold in the retail space, because that's how freight is moved, right? So the truck market kind of swings up and down and back and forth. Is there a really good time to be selling an over-the-road truck versus of course, I think there's differences here. You have an over-road truck driver and you have a farmer truck, okay? Or a construction driver truck. So the over-road driver, they need those trucks going up and down the interstates, year round. Construction guys, they need the heavy haul stuff. And then the farmer, they're hauling their grain and whatever equipment they have to get from one field to the other. But the trucking industry and the truck market is a very interesting market. Give us a little update on what's going on in the truck world from your perspective.
Yeah, not dissimilar to ag or construction equipment space. We're seeing the over-road truck supply increase. Like you say, you've got reefer trucks, then you have your heavy haul and your farmer hauling trucks. But if you're talking about the box trucks that are hauling the goods to the stores that the consumers buy, you typically see a peak time around the holidays, right? When you go into Thanksgiving and to Christmas, a lot of trucks are on the road. And then what you'll see is after that, there'll be, excess supply. So you'll see some of that sell off occurring. I know Daimler and some of the others have recently said their new sales have gone down. And I think they're experiencing the same thing the OEMs in the ag space and construction space have seen as well. So again, our opportunity with Big Iron is to get out there and get after some of those fleets and try to help them reposition them, if you will. So, oftentimes truck fleets go in large quantities. So you may see 100 these track leases, things like that, as we work with our bank partners. And those track leases come mature. They're looking to get them off their books and put that money back to work. So those are the type of opportunities that we typically look for and we'll be going after as the market levels out.
So you also, and here's another one of Franklin's many hats, and he manages them all so very, very well, which is I think that the golfing thing helps a lot because you told me once that it's all about discipline, right? The disciplines that are involved. And a discipline that requires a tremendous amount of concentration is the livestock industry, right? And what I like about the livestock industry is the relationships with the producers. And, when you have a retirement farm machinery sale for that person, you usually sell their machinery and we continue to communicate with Christmas lists. But when you sell their calves from a rancher, we're selling their calves every year with them over and over again until they retire. And you've put a hell of a team together, Franklin, that are really relationship driven. And you've got some really good programs helping these ranchers and these cattle producers sell their livestock on Big Iron. Give us an update with how that's all working out.
Yeah, we feel very fortunate. We've got a good leader for that team that works with me closely, Pat Cruzy, and we have developed a good team. We continue to grow that because it is very much a relationship and a recurring type business with these big cattle producers. But we're doing some things, on our platform that speaks more to that audience, if you will. We had this past summer several really successful feeder calf sales that we implemented and are, working with our customers to understand, those cattle producers, what their needs are, right? And how we can bring the Big Iron quality and service to them and get them to a larger buyer base and market out there. Because again, a lot of these cattle producers, when they come to us to sell their herd for the year, that's their total income for the year. So we don't take that lightly, and we want to work with them to make sure the timing's right, how we video the calves or the cows, and the livestock, that we put it in the best light possible and get it out there to as many potential buyers as we can. And we work closely with our marketing team because how you market livestock is a little bit different than how you market construction equipment or a collector car or a combine, right? So we try to look at, we're all one Big Iron, but we try to look at each sector for the specificity of that sector and how we can help it be successful.
Well, there's definitely differences between every language. And that is something that I want to commend Franklin on. He can handle that different language very, very well. So we're proud of the work he's doing. Well, I'm going to bring this conversation back to the upcoming fall auction schedule that we have now, Franklin. And of course, the bread and butter of Big Iron has always been the land that we sell through Big Iron and through the Sullivan Land Company and through the number of machinery retirement auctions we have and a lot of the dealer business, to be quite frank, that have been using the Big Iron platform lately. Give our listeners some good reasons what your salespeople are telling all of their buying and selling audience why they should be using Big Iron.
The long and short of it is the breadth and reach of Big Iron's marketplace in the ag sector is unparalleled. It's the best in the industry. We have over 20 million web views per month on average. That's tremendous. Nobody can compete with that, right? In addition to that, we have over 700,000 registered users who continually come back to our website, and that number continues to grow each day. We're working with our marketing team. We have a fairly new chief marketing officer who's on the team that's going into things like search engine marketing and optimization, right? Because we want to attract more bidders and buyers, but at the same time, for our current bidders and buyers, we want to personalize that experience for them. So whatever the vertical or the asset they may be looking to buy, we can create them a personalized experience when they come to our website that is easy to use, easy to transact, and they know that they can trust our marketplace. And again, we always do this with the goal of giving them the best in class service. You know, Big Iron, we've been known for years and we continue to carry that forward. The quality of our inspections are second to none. And we're going to continue to do that and bring that to our audience each and every day.
Give us some information, Franklin, from your perspective on, the industry in a whole. What's good if you're a buyer and what's good if you're a seller right now?
Yeah, so as we head into these winter months, if you will, Mark, we're going to have some of the best quality machines selling. So if you're a buyer, now's the time to be in the market. Come to our website, shop, get ready to bid, get yourself registered to bid. We're going to have weekly Wednesday auctions. In addition to that, you're going to see a number of retirement and single seller days. These were larger fleet dispersals or a retirement sale. We also have a number of dealer auctions lined up that's going to have a lot of great equipment in it. So, if you're a buyer, again, go to our website, get registered to bid so you can participate when those auctions come online. You can see our schedule there, so you'll know to set yourself a reminder, know when to be there. From the sell side, if you have a need to dispose of any equipment, contact us. Get in touch with your local rep. Call our 800 number on the website, and we'll get you connected with a rep that can come out and talk you through our offerings.
Well, folks, we want to thank our Chief Sales Officer, Franklin Langham, for being on the Gear Up podcast today, and a lot of wealth of information and knowledge coming from Franklin, and he trickles all of that information down to his sales team as his sales teams also trickles it up, because that's what we love about Franklin. His mind is open to everything that's new and exciting and innovative, so the sellers and buyers have the best that Big Iron can offer. So we want to thank you, Franklin, for being on the Gear Up podcast today.
Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate you having me, and go Big Iron.
There you go. And I tell you what, everybody, please remember to like and share this podcast. Tell your friends about it. And stay tuned for our next episode of Gear Up, brought to you by Big Iron. Thank you.